Welcome into the Shift into Overflow podcast. For this week's episode, I am going to be diving into a more like vulnerable topic. I'm going to be giving stories of my own life and how my relationship almost ended when I was so stuck in hustle culture. So this is going to be an interesting one. It was such a challenge to be in a relationship and still be so disconnected from yourself. The reality of it is if you are still in hustle culture, you are significantly disconnected from yourself. That is just fact. And why that is so is because hustle culture has literally been made in a way that it takes us out of our own personal power. Like, it has strategically been planned. The whole hustle culture movement, this whole idea of hustle culture was literally designed to keep us out of our own power. And it does it by a variety of ways, some of which I've already talked about if you have been on this journey with me for a while. But if you have not, I'll just recap a little bit. And one of the ways it does this is when we are always in fight or flight mode, when our nervous system is always activated, our brain actually can't think clearly and strategically. We are just running on the amygdala responses, which is our fight or flight area of the brain. It sends off the alarms. It sends the signals to prepare our body for when a fucking lion was chasing us. So all the blood rushes from our brain into our body, preparing our limbs to run. So we do not have that processing power to actually be able to think clearly, rationally, and actually get ourselves out. So just even focusing on the nervous system and always being in fight or flight mode, you are not knowing you are in this cycle, but also staying in the cycle of having a nervous system so high up is also keeping you in the cycle. So it's just this whole situation. And this is why if you've taken any courses with me, if you've done any of my one-on-ones, even if you follow my social media pages, I teach nervous system regulation tools. And also just to give my podcast community one too, a really simple nervous system regulation tool is to inhale for 4, retain your breath for 2, and then exhale for 6. So you want to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Do this at least 3 times, but if this is the first time that you're doing any breathing tool regulation or anything like that, nervous system regulation, do it for longer, especially if you're super activated. Do it at least 12 times. Get your nervous system down. This is a really simple tool that you can do anywhere that will significantly help you. So, and then also it creates us to always look for external validation. So we're always seeking external validation outside of ourselves when we should always be seeking internal validation. All of the validation should come internally. And what that does is we have an electromagnetic field that radiates off our body that I call the creator field, but in science terms, it's the electromagnetic field. And it's literally like our energy body, but it is programmed by our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. And then what our creator field does is it hands out this script to everyone and everything, to where our thoughts, beliefs, and actions in our creator field literally decide our reality by the script. So it is in charge of all the situations, all the circumstances, all the people that we find ourselves in or around. And when your creator field is programmed to seek external validation, and what the behind that is, what our creator field showcases in that, there can be a few things, but let's use a personal example for me is not feeling good enough. And this is a very common one that I see in my clients. I see in so many people. It's just never feeling good enough Because how could we ever be good enough when we have our worth and our value coming from external validation? And we always think that the next award, the next certification, the next, when you're in like high school and you think college is going to be the next best thing, or getting a master's degree, that was something that I thought was going to bring me like worth and fill up the hole within me, which I didn't even get one. And it wasn't going to fill up the hole within me. Spoiler alert. So by even just these two things, by keeping our nervous system in this fight and flight reaction the entire time, and then also having us always seek external validation instead of internal validation, it keeps us out of our worth, it keeps us out of our power, and it keeps us being obedient and always sacrificing ourselves for everybody around us and everything around us and the jobs around us to barely scrape by. Like when you're in hustle culture, you are getting breadcrumbs. I don't care how hard you are working. I don't care what your paycheck is. Like, you are getting breadcrumbs. If you transferred this into being in your soul pool, it would be wild, the abundance that comes into your life. So this is like just like a little bit of what hustle culture does. And when we're always reacting from this place of an empty cup and this fight or flight, we don't have the emotional regulation to actually create good relationships with ourselves and with those around us. So another thing that I see and that I have experienced personally that I would be talking about in this podcast is how our relationships, specifically our relationships to our partner, change and are affected by when we are stuck in hustle culture and reacting from this fight or flight nervous system response, and also this place of being out of our power, having this empty cup, like literally nothing left to give, and still trying to create a lovingly healthy relationship. It's not gonna happen. Like, it's not gonna happen. And even if your partner and you are doing somewhat good, there is still so much more potential. And when you get out of this state, you are gonna see that. Like, you are gonna experience it. Your relationship is gonna go stronger. You'd be shocked how your life shifts by simply getting out of hustle culture and shifting everything that comes with hustle culture. So for my relationship, I was always just go, go, go. I was always seeking this external validation as a person, as like a little girl. Like, it was so deeply ingrained in me, to the point where like I was working at like 14 to pay bills, and I had multiple jobs most of my life, going to college, going to high school. It was just crazy. So when I got in a relationship with my partner that I am still in now, it was very eye-opening for me, because I knew that I wanted to create a life with him, and I knew that I couldn't do that by sacrificing our relationship and always putting everything in front of us, like myself and our relationship. A lot of this I had to learn the hard way too. So for the first like year we were in a relationship, I made it a point to have a date with him when it was just like our day, that we would do date nights and we would hang out, and it wouldn't be so much about work. So I would do my job, I would do my overtime, I would do all my side hustles outside of those days. And that was great. Like, that really helped our relationship. But then it ended up falling off the tracks. We ended up moving, and we lived in San Francisco, which is like a really more luxury city, to say the least. So it was a big change for me, still dealing with my money mindset, still dealing with my scarcity, still dealing with never feeling good enough, so always seeking external validation. I thought exhaustion was like a badge of honor, and if you weren't exhausted, you didn't do enough that day. So moving to San Francisco with him, I actually paid all the bills because he was going to college. So I made a deal with him that I would pay all the bills, which put a lot of unneeded like pressure on myself, especially when you're moving to like a brand new city and now you have another human to take care of, you have 2 dogs to take care of. And don't get me wrong, like I would do this all again. I would do everything again. I don't regret anything. Like everything has taught me what it needed to and was specifically designed so that I could get the lessons that I needed to move on, ultimately get on my soul pool and help other people through this too. So this is not like a poor me thing. I'm just sharing my experiences, and if you can relate to them, that's wonderful. And if you can't, no problem. I just want to get these stories out for those people that they can relate to. And if you get anything out of this, if this motivates you to get out of hustle culture, that is freaking amazing. So moving to San Francisco with my partner, I started a business because this is my second business that I started. I was always an entrepreneur. Like I was always creating and doing side hustles and expanding. So as a side hustle, it started out as a side hustle, but it was going to be what evolved into my second business that I created. And I started that. And then I also got a job managing another company. What happened from there was not foreseen. I thought that I got a nice job. I thought that it was going to align perfectly with my side hustle, that I was going to be able to like build my business. And then with the stable income from my managing job, I was going to be able to pay our bills, provide for my boyfriend. Like it was going to be fine. Time was going to work out. It was going to be great. What I didn't foresee is that this managing job was now going to take over my life. So going from what was supposed to be a part-time job, and then what was it started out as only $30,000 a year. So I was only going to be making $30,000 a year. And if you have any knowledge about San Francisco, or if you have lived there for any time, that is like you are making literal pennies. That is not going to pay the bills. Where you can barely find like a studio for $2,500 nowadays. So that was not going to pay the bills. And this job ended up taking over my life to where I was waking up and immediately working. Like people would call out, I would have emails to answer, clients would be there, whatever. Like it was a shit show the moment I woke up, my phone blew up. And I didn't stop working until the second before I had to go to bed. So if you're catching on, this was not great for my relationship at all. Working all this time, I had no time for my partner. I was so drained all the time. I was barely sleeping because my days were so busy. I was forgetting to drink water and like not even having time to drink water or eat a meal. So not only was my nervous system in fight or flight, not only was I not getting enough sleep, but then you add that I wasn't even getting the essentials, like life essentials of water and food. I was unwell. My brain was a big pile of mush. My emotions were like a spiking time bomb, just insane deal. And my poor partner had to live with me during this time. So we had a lot of reflection in our relationship, like a lot of people do. Your relationship is literally going to be one of the things that pushes you to grow the most as a soul. And it is how it is designed to. But if you don't have the tools, this is why so many relationships end and like blow up and people aren't happy, is because we aren't dealing with our own reflections and our own shit. We're just taking it out on our partner and we're blaming our partner, and then because they're dealing with their own stuff, then we just get into these fights and then people break up. One of the reflections that came up a lot was that I never felt like I was doing enough. Even though I was working from when I got up to when I went to bed, I never felt like I was doing enough, which was a huge theme in my life. So of course, this is something that I had to work through with my partner. And I would take that out on him. So I would always be thinking that I didn't do enough. So I would take it out on him that he didn't do enough. And I would be like, wow, really, the dishes aren't done. Or wow, could you please like clean the house more? Like, this is dirty. I don't have time. Like, what do you expect out of me? Can you please vacuum? And it wasn't that he wasn't doing enough. It was that I didn't feel like I was doing enough, and I was reflecting that back to him. The other thing is, we reflect back our partner's creator field too. So I was reflecting my creator field. Like, I was putting my own shit in my creator field on my partner, but he was also a match for that because of something in his creator field. So that's just a side note. So this got to a really bad point. I didn't even work at this job that much, but the amount of damage that it did in a short amount of time was wild. Also, my language does sound like I'm blaming this job, but it's not the job, because I was a match for this job, and because of my creator field, I was creating all the experiences for this job too. So if I had had a different creator field that valued myself, that knew my worth, that knew that I was good enough, I wouldn't have been a match for this job. I would have gotten a different job. Or I would have just been able to create my business right off the bat, which probably would have been, if I had that kind of creator field, it would have been that I created a insane successful business right off the bat, and I never had to go through this experience of the second job. And that's why it's so important to program your creator field. And that's what we do in my intuitive one-on-one sessions, is I go in and I find all your low levels in your creator field, and I give you brain reprogramming tools so you can actually reprogram your creator field to be a match for your desired reality. This is life-changing. So it got to such a bad point where my boyfriend literally told me that he does not recognize me anymore. We were like I was like at war with him and everything in my world. And because of his upbringing, because of his soul lessons, because of his creator field, he felt so undervalued, unseen. He felt like he just wanted to like crawl into a hole. Like, he did not like the life and the reality. And of course, I mean, who would? So this got me, that was kind of my waking up call to hear that from my partner of, oh my God, I need to get out of this job. And that was about the same time that I had a body reflection where I broke my foot. Breaking my foot was the catalyst to actually getting out of hustle culture. And that time when I was down and had to heal and couldn't move was the time that I aligned with a lot of tools that helped me repair my relationship with my partner. And I didn't know essentially about like the creator field, but I knew that you were the creator of your reality. So I didn't know exactly how to create how I do now and using intuition, but the tools I had were nervous system reprogramming. I got out of that scarcity mindset to where it turned from always trying to get jobs and trying to get money out of fear and thinking that I needed all these jobs, think that I needed to sacrifice myself, thinking that I needed to do X, Y, and Z all the time or I wasn't going to be able to pay my bills, which all stemmed from fear. I reprogrammed that to I was abundant, and I started realizing all the tools and everything that I had to build a successful business. So I went all in on my successful business. I let that job go. And in that, I created a $140,000 business in my first year gross, instead of settling for the $30,000, $35,000 job that was driving me into the ground and driving a wrench between my relationship. I also had to go through a lot of talking to my partner about the reflections that came up during this time. Because when I was constantly reacting to him instead of communicating, we had to undo and we had to unpack what was actually there. So it was actually about taking this time to do that. And it's not about creating blame, But it's about taking radical responsibility for how you show up in life and how you show up in your partnership. A lot of people don't even want to actually admit to what they have done. And I admit that I was a little bit crazy during this time. I was unwell and I was taking that on my partner, and he did not deserve any of that. But it wasn't that he needed to change. It was that I needed to handle my own shit. I needed to get out of my fight or flight responses. I needed to reprogram my brain. I needed to do something that lit me up instead of drained me. And I needed to make sure that I was my own priority and I was filling my cup, which even just filling your cup is going to be such a game changer for you. Actually getting the amount of sleeps that you need, actually getting the nutrients in your body that you need, actually drinking the water that your body needs. Like, that is a game changer, and that should never be sacrificed. And filling your cup should go much deeper than just that. But if you don't have those 3 things, like, stop what you're doing right now and start to give yourself those 3 things. I don't care what programs are running in your mind. I don't care what fear is driving you. You need to go and do that for yourself. You would be amazed how life starts to shift when you start to give yourself even those small things every single day. Using some stories from this time, if any of these sound like you, or you have been there too, you are definitely in hustle culture. Your nervous system is dysregulated and you are out of your power. You are not filling your cup. We can change that though. So once you acknowledge it, we can change it. We're good. I had such a short fuse during this time. Like, somebody could drop a pin wrong and I would freak out. And I remember even like somebody like talking to my dog across the street or something, and I lost it because I was like trying to get to my house, and then this person was just being like really annoying, and then my dog was kind of interested. I wasn't mad at my dog, like I was just mad at the other human. But taking it out of the emotional reaction of that situation, I wasn't mad at any of that. Like, that was not what was actually happening. I was so overworked. I was so depleted in my cup that is how I was reacting. I had nothing else to give. And I was so deep into these emotions and into this place of like, it's not even that emotions are bad or we can't have emotions surface. It's just we gotta have the tools to where our emotions don't control us. And during this time, my emotions were definitely controlling me. And that is one of those times where I could see that very clearly. Another one of those times is when I had like one of the worst days at work. I was drained. I was over it. I had staff that was just up my ass all day and complaining and bitching while I was like working more than I should have because I was covering for people. I like barely had enough time to do everything that day that I needed to actually keep the schedule lifted and running smoothly. And then I came home and I even forget what happened with me and my partner. Like, I forget what actually happened. I just know I was so over it. And it wasn't that it was like him or what actually happened. It was just that last domino that just took out all the other dominoes. And I got to this point where, like, for some reason I was already mad. And then I was trying to close my blinds or something, which led me slipping on a bottle that he had on the floor, like one of his water bottles, which led me to falling over backwards into a plate of spaghetti. And it is so comical to think about this now, but imagine being like so depleted and so low and having such a shitty day and having this happen to you. I was unwell. I literally ended up retreating into my bedroom just to lay on my bed in the dark because I feared like my emotions at that point. Like, I was like, I cannot do anything else. I need to literally like put myself into a black room to just decompress with no lights and no stimulation and nobody to like take anything out on, and nobody to like contribute to anything I was going through, just to like take a few minutes to do some deep breaths. And it is so comical to think about like some of the things that transpired now, being in the the frame of mind that I am in now, and the tools that I have now. But I needed to go through all of this, and I needed to have like these hilarious stories to connect with people, because I understand when you're that deep and like your day just keeps getting worse and you're like, how the fuck does this happen? Like, how does it just keep getting worse? But one day, I promise you that if you are still in this cycle, you can be laughing about it like me. We can give you the tools. You can get there. It is possible. I want this for you so much. So please continue to listen to my podcast, and I will be giving tools. I have my courses available if you want out like right now. I understand. And that is why this tool that I gave you at the very start is going to be everything to you right now, because taking off, I would equate the breathing tool to when you have boiling water on the stove and the lid is on, and like it is about to just completely boil over. Maybe you're making pasta. Your pasta is about to completely boil over, and then you just take the lid off, and all it needed was a little bit of steam to be released. And that nervous system programming tool is going to be that little bit of steam to be released. I also just want to say that my relationship with my partner did not get better over time. There was a lot of damage done when I was so deep in hustle culture and always reacting from this place of fear and empty cup, and literally always just reacting instead of doing the tools that I needed and the communication tools. One thing that really helped, and you can do with your partner if you're experiencing any of this, is to just have it be okay to not talk about something right then. Have it be okay to go into a separate room and not continue the conversation yet, so that you can actually think about it, and so that you can actually regulate your emotions, and so that you don't say things that you can't take back and it takes a while for your partner to get over. Have that be okay. Just like literally put that out into your conversation with your partner. Like, hey, I've been really stressed out at work. If I feel triggered, please just like give me that space and let's revisit whatever we're talking about at a later date. I just need to regulate myself. Your partner would probably really like this too. It's gonna change a lot. And that was something that me and my partner did. So it was my own breathing tools. It was brain reprogramming. So instead of always looking at the lack in my life, I looked at all the abundance. Every time I was able to pay a bill, literally the air that I breathed, the clothes that I was wearing, the ability to even have a roof over my head, because I was homeless before. So having a roof over my head, having access to a shower was huge. And I was very grateful for that. And I did not let myself take that for granted during this time. And also just knowing that what is coming up is not actually what's going on, and it's not actually your partner's fault. My partner did not change. Like, he did not wake up a different man and then our relationship is better now. Like, he's great. Of course, he's grown in these couple of years as I've grown, but it's not like we're completely different people. We just have the tools, we have the communication in place, we have the knowledge that we need to fill our own cups in order to be able to fill our relationship cup and actually be stronger together. And this has helped me and my partner build an aligned business together. One of my businesses is with him. Like I work with him, and we love each other, and we have grown so much, and we have built such an incredible life together that we would only have dreamt of at this point in time. And also he has given me the space to do my soul pool and to build my business. And whenever something comes up between us, I actually look at what's going on within myself before I even bring it to my partner, which this is going into more of the law of reflection. So I'll save that for a different episode. I just kind of wanted to talk about like some of the things that went on in my relationship when I was stuck in hustle culture, and just give like a couple tips and tricks and that you can utilize right now. Like I I've been here. I know what it feels like, and I don't want other people to feel like that. Whatever I can do to help, like, I will. And these podcasts and these videos with these like free tools you can utilize, like, take advantage of this, utilize it. It is powerful. Nothing I give is not powerful. Like, everything I give is gonna work. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in to the Shift into Overflow podcast. I am so excited to continue on these conversations, but